All right, that means it's our third story of the night. And Sweaty brought this story to me actually when we first put this group together. And I said, man, you got to talk about this topic. So the floor is yours, Sweaty.
Absolutely. Thank you, Gator. Well, there's really two topics that I want to hit on. I'm gonna try and keep it as short as I can, though. But the first topic is kind of a topic that I feel is kind of it goes under the radar sometimes. Not all the time. It definitely gets mentioned, but it's certainly not something that has a focus on it. So I want to take the opportunity to be able to put the focus on this. And what exactly is that, Sweaty? Well, for myself, Destiny has done something very special for me that no other game has done, but acted as a catalyst for different opportunities through mutual interest. I mean, as an example, I never thought I'd be into podcasting, like at all. If you were to tell me that when I was starting to become a new light or a new guardian, I would have told you, get out of here. That's a bunch of pish posh. But not just podcasting, but the people that I've met and the network and the relations that have been created in conjunction with it. In short, basically the unsung power of social networking that Destiny has brought for me. I mean, I even just like touching base to what I had mentioned earlier, some of my life struggles and things like that. Whenever I'm in the heat of the moment, I look to my wife and I say, I'm really struggling with this and I need to talk to my guys about this. Just letting you know, in case you walk out to the living room, you hear me talking about our business, you don't know what's going on. And I need my people right now to just to kind of help me through this. So I'm going to open up the doors to everybody else to kind of speak to this. But I mean, do you guys kind of agree that Destiny has in some sort of maybe not primarily been the focus, but has essentially opened new doors that were unexpected to you in terms of social networking, in terms of relationship creating, and things like that. Like, what do you guys think of that as a whole?
Let's go.
Yeah, man. I mean, I take trips at least once a year, if not twice a year, to hang out with people that I play Destiny with. I have friends that gather together that I've been playing games with on the mic. People that I got to talk to daily during COVID when most people couldn't hang out with their friends. And it's led to things like streaming and podcasting and yeah, all sorts of crazy interests outside of gaming and just life things, like I all sorts of shit, like a group of us close friends will go to Albuquerque on a weekend and we'll just eat tacos and hit breweries and we'll just do that for 3 or 4 days and like set up a bunch of Xboxes and game too. Or like member of our community, Snatching Panda. Like, I've flown out to Seattle and we've run mountains together, and he's flown out to Minnesota and we ran a bunch of the Superior Hiking Trail together. Um, just cool things like that, man. Or going to Guardian Con and renting I set up the Derp Mansion one year, and so like I got it all rented and like 5 or 6 of us stayed in this like giant mansion and for Guardian Con, and then we had a bunch of people come over and we had like a pool and a hot tub and it was like a great time, and just like fun crazy things outside of an actual video game that spawned from, oh hey, what is this game? And secretly I really did not like Destiny the first time I played it, but the second time many months later it was okay.
What
Yeah,
about you,
man.
what about you, Parody?
Yeah, just sitting here tonight speaking into this microphone that I've been doing since 2019 with all of you fine gentlemen. Like, I think I was actually thinking the other day, it was a real life friend who got me again. Like, a lot of people are like, oh, I'm a day one Destiny, whatever. I'm like a weekend two Destiny, whatever player. Cause like, again, I think I went to game, like either to Redbox or Gamefly and like rented it for a week because my buddy was like, we should go pick this up and play it. And I've since met, people from all over the country who I played this game with, who I've talked to for years, who will sit in person in our living rooms, call each other by our gamer tags. So it's like, right, we're in the real world. We can use real names. Not like my best friend Panoramix 18 and I still will refer to each other as Pan and Parody the entire time we're together. And our other friends are just like, yep, that's a thing. We just accept it and roll with it. I think, I mean, everybody I know or talk to or have done creative projects with in my life came from Destiny. It's just, it's you spend enough time, you meet people, and you're like, oh, that's a decent human being. Let's be friends with the decent human beings and get rid of the ones who are not worth the time and trouble.
Yeah.
And then you're sitting here in your band app, sharing links and talking about a game with a nice British man, and then he's like, we should do this more formally. Want to do a podcast? I don't know. Podcast. I'll edit you guys to show up and talk. Great, I can do that. And it's like, okay, now I need to, then you're finding yourself going, well, now I have to play the game to have somebody to talk about in the game and follow the game and figure what's going on with it. And you just get deeper and deeper into this world and meet interesting people and find out, it's so funny how everybody has their own like little like bubble of creators they know. You're like, oh, it's so and so, and people are like, everybody knows the Fallouts and the Grenadier Jakes and the cool guys, like the Azzacross. Oh, everyone knows that. But then you throw out 6 other names, and they're like, wait, who is that? Who's that person? I've never. Oh, they've got 50,000 followers, or 5,000, or 10,000, or 500 followers, but they do phenomenal stuff. And
Yes.
it's like,
Yeah.
it just, this game is so huge. Like you hear the numbers, but you can't really conceptualize how many people that is.
Yeah.
And it's just, so it's so cool, like meeting friends and friends of friends, and like seeing these communities mesh and just like come together in like these different, LFG groups or different Discords. It's so funny, the different groups of Discords that are like this, like, sort of like almost like, it's like the 100 IOs where like I met a lot of people to start with before Discord. And it is almost like those raid groups are sort of, okay, now you bring a friend and you bring a friend and you bring a friend. And it just sort of grows and grows and grows out from there. And it's just, it's super fun. Just meeting, it's like, meeting friends of friends, and now you're friends. And now you've got somebody else across the planet that you love talking to and virtually hanging out with. And going, if I can ever fly to Australia, I'd love to hang out in person.
Helios.
Australia, it's very far away.
Dude, Sweaty does that content creator thing to me all the time. He's like, oh, so and so, they're gonna be on the show tonight. I'm like, I have no idea who that is. And then they're just like a super established, like super awesome content creator. You're like, oh, I like this person, they seem pretty cool.
yeah You're just like, how have I never
yeah Yep, totally get you.
It's really weird. Yeah, it's go ahead.
I'm gonna ask you basically the same thing I asked these gentlemen, but I'm gonna throw you. I'm gonna throw a wrench in.
Of course you are. Of course you are.
The reason I'm gonna do this is because I know that you own your own business, and I think there's a certain particular piece of this topic that I think might have helped you in your business. So, of course, with the different opportunities and the networking and the relationships and the content creation, but also what I would like to ask you is, how has it helped you with your public speaking in terms through your podcasting medium?
Yeah, that's a great question. I don't think anybody's ever asked me that. Should be on the show more often, I guess. Gosh, I was a terrified teenager in high school, and other than 5 other friends I had, which were all band geeks like me, I was the band geek that was also the football and baseball player, but I loved these 5 guys every day that we talked and sat at the table together and stuff, and I was terrified to talk to anybody. No confidence, typical teenager. And when I got into retail, I had to kind of fake it. You had to, work in retail behind the counter. You got to put yourself in the mood, and you got to play the part, and you're the friendly employee. But at the end of the day, it helped me break out of my shell a little bit, but not until I podcasted. And this was strictly something I was not planning at all. It's very much like your story, Parody. The Dad's Tales podcast was ending, and not the whole, but a lot of people in our clan, the Dad's Tales clan, said, hey, you guys should do a podcast. I'm like, what's a podcast? I'm like, I don't know anything about this, guys. I don't know anything about how to do this. I mean, I wanted to talk with JC Jesse And I remember the first thing he said was, well, what kind of mic you got? And I'm like, what do you mean what kind of mic I got? I didn't realize how important a mic was back then. I'm like, well, I have my gaming headset. And, but fast forward, gosh, 5 years now, almost 5 years. July will be 5 years podcasting. It has, just today, in fact, I was so excited about talking with all you guys tonight that I was just in a little bit of chipper mood, even though it was hot out. And when I have customers come up to me and stuff, I've gotten so good, even better at creating conversations with people, because that's what you do in podcasting. You draw out some dialogue from someone and just put something out there that's a little curious, and I've just gotten so good at that. And the other thing that I'm really trying to get better at is storytelling. If you can be a good storyteller, man, I'm telling you, the sky's the limit. People want to hear stories. They want to hear about you, or something that happened to you, or anything like that. And because of the community that has developed, and over this almost 5 year span now, it's really taken me out of my shell. Now, I'm still a sensitive guy. I still take stuff personally when I probably shouldn't. And we've been through ups and downs to the podcast over the years, but yeah, podcasting and just being involved in the Owl Sector Alliance generally has been just a revelation. I mean, I'm sitting here, I was writing down all the different things that I've done in the community. Meetups. I've met up for probably 7 people in our community already. Funny, I never met up with Hazel or Easy. Never met those guys in real life, but I felt like I knew them because I talk with them every week. We've done whole weekends, just like what Fluffy was saying, with the, grabbing Xboxes and having a big gaming, a LAN party over a weekend and stuff. Man, I was jealous of that. I wanted to go do that. But we had whole guy weekends where we would go see movies and go to the shooting range and get a nice dinner out somewhere and stuff. Just memories I'll never forget. Guardian Con. First time I've ever been to Guardian Con, or GCX, whatever it is. I went last year, and I met with Brittany, his wife, her husband, Coma, Hammercrasher 32, which is the coolest dude in real life. Let me tell you, I love that guy. And met other people that came with Hammercrasher. I didn't know as well, but I got to meet them and talk with them and stuff. Things I would have never done before. And then I remember when we probably year 2 into our Discord server, Brittany was having a baby, her first baby. And I said, you know what? Let's have an online baby shower for her. So I quietly made a channel that she never saw, and I had to figure out how to do that. And I was blown away by all the people that came to me and said, listen, I want to donate $25, or I want to donate $100. And we created a cash amount of money that she could use on anything she wanted when her little one came into this world. And that was had a very good sense of pride when that happened. And then what really, really got to me, because we're all podcasters here, right? We can all talk podcasting a little bit tonight. Whether you like it or not, you still look at your stats. I know some of you don't, but I know you probably know whereabouts you are. I look at my stats. I'm sorry. That's how I measure my success, or if my shows are interesting and people keep listening or not. You have to know, in order to know where you're going, you got to know where you're at, right? So I will break down the podcast into, okay, how many people listened to the episode this week, or in the last 60 days, or the last month, or how many total downloads did we get this month, right? But I had a contest 3 months ago where it was for Valentine's Day. And I think this was Nico, aka Jersey. He has some great ideas. He came to me and said, why don't we do a Valentine's Day contest? Someone post their pictures of their wife or spouse, or a couple's picture or whatever, and we'll have a channel. Everyone can submit their pictures. And I got the ball started. I got a before picture of when my wife and I were first hopping out of the limo when we first got married 31 years ago. And then I did a today picture where we were both at Universal in front of the Harry Potter castle and stuff. Everyone started putting their pictures in there, and I was almost to tears. once you see the faces of the people that you affect every week, that and however busy they are in their life, are tuning in to listen to you, it really hit home that these are real people with real lives and real families, and everyone else started posting their before and after pics. I was like, this is so awesome. Look at all these people. And I don't remember who won the contest, but that really hit home that these are people dealing with their own shit in life that are tuning in to listen to you, dude. And that just, it really personalized it for me. You know, I when you see the faces of people who are actually involved in your Discord community, and whether it's your beautiful faces tonight, it really hits home that how personable this really can get. So, yeah, it's we tend to look at our podcast as stats and downloads and how long are people listening to the episode before they tune out of a 3-hour podcast, things like that. And then all that goes out the door when you see faces of people that just listen to you once or become a patron member for 1 month. You know, they just figured, hey, I want to throw a couple bucks your way because I like what you're doing, man. Just things like that just blow you away. So
Yeah. Gator, I think we do have different approaches though on data, because like I really got burnt out on streaming because I got focused on data. Like I got too focused on data, and I, as someone who's been a fan of Destiny podcasts and also doing it for a long time, like a lot of people fail because they focus on some of that stuff too much,
Yeah.
and then they get bent out of shape with their partners in the
Yep.
podcast. Like, hey man, you're not holding up your own. Like, we really need, whatever.
Right.
Anyways, you get my point.
Yeah, I get it.
Like, we legit from the start said we cannot care about this at all. We have to only do this because we enjoy doing it.
Yeah.
So if you ask Admiral Nips what our total download count is,
He could tell you.
or how many average downloads we get, like that dude has no idea, because it is not a conversation we ever have, ever. Like ever. I will maybe post like, hey, we hit 35,000 downloads.
Yeah.
Like maybe I'll post that.
Yeah.
But like we don't focus on that at all. So, and I don't think it's wrong to. I agree with you. I think if your focus is growth, then I think you need to look at your metrics to help you grow. Or I think that looking at your metrics can be a source of indication of growth, however you want to put it, right? It isn't the only way. Obviously, like the community and the activity in your Discord is like evidence enough, right?
Sure.
And people commenting and stuff like that also is like another metric that is not just like a download or whatever. And I think too, like there is no right way or wrong way about it. I think it's just as long as you are doing what you feel is worth your time and fun and successful, for sure. Like, the only reason that I know those numbers is because they throw them in front of my face
when you upload. Yeah.
But I don't. You won't catch me like diving into statistics or anything like that.
Right.
Like, I don't know.
I had a God, please don't go away, please. I had it on the tip of my tongue.
Keep a notepad up.
Geez, I did have a notepad. I already answered all the stuff I had on my notepad. Damn ADHD. God damn it. I lost it.
It's funny because Spook said keep a notepad up, like on your screen, and Gator screwed his had the notepad on the table. Like, dude, it's just great because it's like two total different generations.
No.
Like, just keep a notepad.
So what do you mean notepad up? There's a notepad on your computer? Really? Someone told me that the other day. I was like, yeah, there's a notepad. I actually have no, I unpinned it. It used to be on my taskbar, but it's not there anymore. Shit, I've lost my thought. But damn.
Well,
good
I'm
thought
going
too.
to say this then, and
Okay.
maybe you could think about it in the meantime.
Yeah, maybe it'll jar it.
So I kind of have a similar approach to the statistical side of podcasting, since we're all talking about it, as fluffy. But there was one time in particular where the metrics did matter to me, and it's not because it benefited me, but it benefited someone else. Not just someone else. benefited a whole plethora of people. And Gator, you'll remember the time when you and I band together and we did the Veterans Day charity event.
Oh, it was so much fun.
Man, that was the only time that I was closely paying attention to the metrics, just because I knew that every time that we received a single donation, didn't matter if it was $1, $20, or whatever it was, that it was going to help somebody that was in need of that. And I just wanted to thank you for participating in that.
Oh, that was
Hope
so
that we
much
can
fun.
do that again this year.
I'm in, man. I just ran into Iron Banner solo. I said, here we go. Let's go, guys. Let's go. And God, I think Jealous donated like $500. It was crazy, man. It was
And
nuts.
actually got to see, because I actually went and took it a step further. I became a stack up streamer.
Yes.
So I'm on the in a little bit, and I
Nice.
got to see, as you were mentioning, the faces of the people that are participating. I got to join the Discord, I got to join the private chats, and I got to see the faces of the people that this benefited.
That's awesome.
And these were people that don't ask for help. They're really not. But they said, hey, I'm in a situation. This is X situation. I'm dealing with Y. I just kind of want to have a way to connect with my people. And that's really all it is. And our contribution went to a larger project that, at the end of the funding, resulted in $500,000 that went towards veterans, not only for the United States, but allied nations, including Canada. And that was probably the absolute highlight of my supposed, I'll say loosely quoted, content creation career. Like that, going back to the conversation where I mentioned earlier with Fluffy, that, going flawless with friends is more rewarding than solo.
Oh, yeah.
This was a situation where this was more rewarding to help somebody else than it was ever to benefit myself. And I feel weird saying that, because that's never the reason I got into this. But there is a certain validation where it goes, okay, so am I hitting not the right metrics? I guess that's not the right wording, but like, am I doing the right thing? Am I hitting the right notes? Am I speaking to the right crowd? Am I giving the right information? Am I being authentic enough? Am I being transparent enough? And maybe I'm over bloating certain topics. What do I need to pull back on? So I could see the benefit that you're talking about when it comes to watching your stats. But I can kind of bridge your two perspectives together, in the sense that, I never got into it for the metric purposes, but at the same time, it did help me learn in terms of moving forward. And there were certain benefits that came of it that I had learned through the process that felt rewarding to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think there's a right way or wrong way, man. And
No.
there's definitely a difference between focus and awareness.
Yeah.
Like,
Totally.
and
And-
everyone needs
yeah.
to do what works for them, right? But
Yeah.
that's the only way to do it.
Don't get me wrong. Stats don't mean as much as they used to anymore, but like you said, Fluffy, it's right there in your face when you're uploading on your server, on your host provider, right? And you're like, oh, look at that. But
Total downloads, I think, is always up there.
Yes.
I think you have to drill in to get
You do.
like individual like episodes and stuff, at least
Yeah.
on mine.
and the reason I look at episodes downloads is because I want to see what interest that episode drew, or what the guest drew. And I mean, one of the best episodes I had was my son, which has nothing to do with the Discord or the Destiny. He doesn't even play Destiny. And when my son was on,
Storytelling.
they do. You're exactly right. So
Those episodes are really good. Like, people
Yeah.
love a good.
yeah,
And again, like what he said, just being authentic. And being
Yes,
real and
people
being
crave it.
transparent. Like, just
Yeah.
the number of shows I've listened to over the last 20 whatever years I've been listening to podcasts. It's like shows I would listen to where it was just three nerds talking to microphones about whatever. Like,
Yeah.
that was my introduction to podcasts. Just like, I don't know these people. We have nothing in common. I don't know who they are, where they are.
Yeah.
It's just three nerds talking about nerdy stuff. And it just and that's the beauty, since we're talking inside podcast baseball. I mean, that's the beauty of this medium is
Yes.
you're at work, you're mowing the lawn, you're doing dishes, you're playing. I mean, you're sitting playing Destiny, listening to people having you're this parasocial relationship with the people in your ears. You listen to an hour, 3 hours, whatever hours a week, having conversations about things you're interested in, and you're sort of part, like you're sort of eavesdropping on that conversation, listening in, or you can run to the Discord and be like, you were wrong about that, or oh, this is the thing you were trying to think of that was on the tip of your tongue, and just like going back to what you guys were saying about doing anything you can for charity. Like one of the things I love most about this community is a Bungie Foundation. Every time they get together and they're like, we need to raise $1 million, and community's like, done. Hour in, here's your $1 million. What's next?
Yep.
Just the ability to marshal that number of people toward a common good is phenomenal.
It's fantastic.
And I love, anything we can do to be a part of that, and just being part of that as a greater like Bungie family always makes me feel really good. And it's always really cool to see and be a part of.
Yeah.
Because it's like we can do our little thing here and there. And whenever, we've done a couple of men's about to help the charity streams in the UK.
Yep.
Like David or Noble will come and say, hey, I'm doing this thing for Andy's Man's Club, or I'm doing this mental health stream. Sure, absolutely. We don't have a huge community, a big following behind us, but if we raise $100, it's $100. So we raise $50. So we raise awareness. If somebody finds out about a resource, my wife's a therapist. If someone learns about a resource that they didn't know existed to help them get through a time, it's a win.
100%.
It's super cool to be, just to have, to sit here in front of this stupid microphone and talk out into the ether that people listen to, and it just, if we can do a little bit of good, it's worth it. And and like you were saying, it doesn't really matter. Numbers are numbers.
Yeah,
they go up, they go down. It's like you do what makes you happy.
Yeah. I'm not stuck on them. I don't mean to come across that way, but I'm not stuck on numbers. We don't have sponsors or advertisers, so it doesn't matter.
It's so easy to get into your head and be like, oh, this was higher and this was lower. It's like, you know what? I'm going to show up next week, and because I used to really like stress out about like how much I was preparing, how little I was preparing.
Right.
Or if I felt prepared to come into the show, or if I was just like, I haven't read the TWAB, I haven't looked at anything, and it's like, you know what? There's always next week.
Yep.
There's always next week. Like doing this for so long, it's like, if this show I felt was crap, I can do better next week. There's always another opportunity. There's always next week. And it's just like, it's another show. It comes, it goes. You've always got the next one.
There's so many external variables that have nothing to do with you or your show as well.
Yes.
Like,
so true.
Someone released a 5-hour episode with a legendary guest. Someone released a bonus episode. You just don't have an opportunity to listen to podcasts that week.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, there's so many things that are in play of download numbers that they do represent like a general theme, but also like
I realize that. I realize that too, because I'll be listening to, like tonight I was listening to a Destiny podcast, and my wife is like, as soon as I get home, we gotta go get this because they close at 8. And I turned off the podcast and just went ahead and moved on to the next thing. And that was not because I didn't like the podcast. So I got to keep that in my head too. But going back to your charity stream, Sweaty, that was the first time I've ever done a charity stream. And I was trying to be as entertaining as possible with my average to mediocre Crucible skills. And all I knew was all those charity streams that I'd watched all the past Destiny content creators do for Bungie a long time ago. That's the only example I had to go by. But first thing I did when you asked me to be on the stream is I said, all right, what's this charity about? Because I'm a little skeptical. There's some charities out there that you hear about, that defraud people and take their money and stuff. And I read about this Stack Up charity, how they give Xboxes. I'm trying not to get emotional here. How they give Xboxes to our enlisted who are really having some problems. And I think gaming can be very healing. I think it'd be very healing if not just like Parody said, to turn your mind off and just shoot aliens in the face. And when I saw the video that you sent me, and I saw what good this charity did, I have a very big soft spot for our enlisted and our veterans, because my grandfather was a Navy SEAL, and he had to go and clean up all the booby traps that were in Iwo Jima, that time period. And the things he saw just haunted him, and he would never talk about it until his dying days. So I kind of had an inside scoop of what veterans go through. And my dad was in the Air Force during Vietnam. So, I just see how people come back. They're not the same. And it's hard for people to re-engage into society. And I, that was a no-brainer, man. That was a no-brainer when you asked me to be on that, to do that, because if it has anything to do with the veterans, and I like the Wounded Warrior Project too. I like what they do as well. But yeah, that was the first time I've ever charity streamed before. And I'm so glad you asked me to do it, because, it was so much fun to do that night, and so many people turned out for it. And I was just so proud of our community that night. And here's Jealous. He just won a bunch of money playing darts in a tournament. And this unselfish guy says, yeah, I'll just donate it to you guys. You guys entertain me. And I was just blown away by that generosity. So, I
And
mean,
not just Jealous, there was plenty of other people as well.
yeah, I'm not minimizing. I
We
mean,
we were
it
absolutely
kept going. People just kept donating and donating, and every time you would shoutcast it and cried it out, I was like, I felt so proud. And man, nothing replaces that feeling. So yeah,
It's infectious. It's so infectious.
it
When
is.
Yeah.
you see someone be
It-
generous, it moves you to
It
wanna,
heals your soul. It really
Definitely.
does. It's a soul cleanser. It really is. So, well, hey, any
watch
last
this.
words? Yeah, Sweaty.
Definitely. I'm going to wrap this up with this. None of this would have happened if it wasn't for the social networking that comes with Destiny. And that being said, we managed to band together, help veterans. And I'm going to close out the first topic and move on to the second topic with this, Gator. Did you find that through, and this is completely unrelated to Veterans Day, by the way, hard switch. But I was curious though, because you own your own business through your podcasting, through meeting everybody that you've met through interviewing high profile creators to even just the average Joe. Did you find that that experience helped you with your business in terms of just speaking to people, your public speaking?
Absolutely. In fact, my wife has asked me to do teach-in with her school, with elementary school kids, and as probably most of you guys know, I own and operate a pest management firm here in Florida, and I was so confident. I never stumbled. I never had any issues, even talking to little kids. And of course, the parents are there too. They're listening, so it's like you're talking to adults. But yeah, it's had so many benefits. Just the networking aspect of it, and yeah, I mean, it's I'm just talking into a mic, and every week I try to improve. Every week there's a saying you can't see over here that I hang right next to my desk to my left, and I look at it every morning, and it's, today is another chance to get better.
Definitely.
And when you see that, it's so easy. I know it sounds corny, but it's when everything's going wrong and you look over there and you had a bad day, it's so easy just to read that and just snaps you right back into focus. So yeah, it's been a great experience. I feel, yeah, it's definitely helped with my business. Um, and it's something I've shared with my employees as well, as far as helping them when a customer comes to them all frustrated and how to deal with that. And it's given me a lot of a new set of tools and skills to use. So absolutely, man. Yep.
Awesome. And apologies to do the hard switch, but one thing that I've noticed with you that even you were talking about earlier, Gator, is that a lot of your listener base, a lot of your community, the Discord people, um, even on the nights that you're not supposedly loosely quoted performing well in game in terms of content, the people are here for you. And I wanted your listeners to hear a little bit more about your perspective in terms of those topics. So I felt an opportunity to really ask you the questions, as even though this is your show, you're the interviewer, but
Mhm.
at the same time, we're all podcast hosts.
Yeah.
So I just seen an opportunity to allow your listeners to get to know you a little bit better. But now, on to the next topic, and we'll close out at least my terms of speaking with this one, because I found this to be a quite popular topic amongst the Owl Sector Alliance as a whole. But hypothetically, Destiny 3.
Mhm.
Now I'm curious, and I want to hear from everybody, Fluffy, Parody, Gator, what a Destiny 3 should even look like. Like, should it be a full reset type of deal or a continuation? I
Right.
mean, I think most folks are hard against the idea of the galaxy is in peril yet again, Guardian. And like what that could even look like. Do folks even want a Destiny 3 or have we kicked the horse long enough? Like, what are your guys' thoughts in terms of the idea under the umbrella of Destiny 3?
Dating sim. Where is my Destiny 3 dating sim? I want a dating sim card game mashup. That's what I want out of this.
With beards.
Listen, if I can't roleplay a Save 14 and go looking for love, what is there left to do? We've saved the galaxy. Everything's great. Now this is the epilogue of the 10 years of war and fighting. Everything's good now. We're friends with everyone. Now we can all hang out.
If we're doing a Destiny 3, I want them to lean into what they're doing with Prismatic for everything.
Right.
I think ideally, like, obviously it has to be a fresh start. Everything has to go away. The weapons have to leave. That's just how it is. But I want to have it more like playing something like Diablo or The Witcher or something like that. But I want the armor to be, you pick it up, you can put it on whatever you have. You find Ophidians and you're a hunter, you now have Ophidians on a hunter. You're a Titan and you find Starfire Protocol and it works for you, that works for you. Like, I think if they're gonna do it, I think that would be enough of a change. They're already doing it kind of with this prismatic thing and with the class items where they're blending the lines of the different class types. So why not just have no lines at all? Why not just say, this is your hunter. Who do you want to be? You want to be a hunter? You want to be a warlock? You want to be a titan? Cool. Go out into the world and slay shit and make that character better and make them your own. Because then they're really your own. Because, I mean, we say that they're our own, but we're just putting puzzle pieces together that they gave us. Like, the puzzle's already been built. It was built and they just cut up the pieces and said, here, you put them back together. You know what I mean? So, like, I think that style or that openness to not pigeonholing everything in like it is with the last two games, like I think that could give them some flexibility. And I know I'm probably like really making some lore people upset by saying this, but they'll just change the lore like they do or modify it in a way or introduce some sort of like, well, we thought that was true until we went through the Pale Heart and then we discovered that there's people that live like this. You know what I mean? So like if they want to do it, they can find a way to write into it, right? Because like what is known is only known now. It doesn't mean that you won't know something new tomorrow. Right? It's just like real life. It's just like science. You know what I mean? Like we think that we have a pretty firm grasp on like how everything in the world works, but we really just are guessing to the best of our knowledge at this point, right?
Right.
So like I don't know, that would be my hope. If there was going to be a new version of Destiny, is that they really just like let people go crazy with the build crafting and the power fantasy.
What do you think, Parody? What's a Destiny 3 look like?
I think if
Gambit.
Bring back Gambit Prime.
Well, I mean, honestly, I think Destiny 3 at this point, I want a clean break for different reasons. Like if you're going to continue this world, if you're going to continue the story and continue with these characters, I want a clean break from everything. Make up the storytelling however you want. Again, they can write the story on why we're hanging out with the same core characters we've always known and loved, but now we're somewhere different, or we've gone with the Hive to their homeworld, or we've gone with the Fallen to some distant, whatever the reason is.
Yeah,
I want to start fresh.
Right.
I don't want to be on a 10-year-old video game anymore. I don't want to be on a game on, that started life on the Xbox 360. I want to be on a newer, modern game. Now, can we get that with Destiny 3? Again, I know just a tiny little bit about programming and development, just enough to be dangerous. I'm in no way a game developer or have any clue what I'm talking about. But seeing the creakiness and just, the instability of, this phenomenal project, this sort of unicorn game that's lasted this long through 2 iterations and multiple corporate overlords, but it's really, really ripping at the seams. So if we're going to have a Destiny 3 and it's just built on top of this decade of legacy code and legacy tech and legacy everything, Night Demon, earmuffs, don't listen to this. I don't know if I want a Destiny 3 if that's what it's going to be. Now, if we're starting fresh, if part of this marathon work is, starting fresh with newer things in a different core and everything else, let's move forward and see what that looks like. But there's parts of me going, oh, I'm going to play the game. Which parts of it are completely broken this week? Which, again, to be fair, is always going to be a thing. It's a live service game. It's a living, breathing thing. It's not a cartridge I got at the mall for $60 to put in my Super Nintendo that's never going to change. Like, I understand the complexities here, but it's also it's a little, and I think some of it's just, I'm showing my tiredness of, we're going to go play this. Oh, this is broken, so I can't play this week. And it's a thing. So it's been creaking along for a while. So if we are getting a Destiny 3, let's start fresh with, this vault I have full of weapons and things. It had a good run. We can leave it behind now and move on to something bigger and better that they can do cooler stuff with.
That hurts to hear. I know there's a lot of people are squirming right now, but I earned those weapons. Yeah, when you finish Call of Duty and Call of Duty 2 the next year, you're not even thinking about those guns. You're thinking about what new guns to get. Boy, I have a lot to say here. Just from if you go back to all the episodes of all my speculation, all the way back to when even Hazel and I were podcasting, I've had so many ideas for a Destiny 3, but the one thing, there's a ton of quality of life stuff, and I'm just going to randomly just throw them out here. I think it's time to refresh our bounty system. I was talking to Ban Davis about this a couple shows ago. And he goes, I like doing bounties. I don't mind doing bounties, but can we get some new bounties? Can we get some new bounties and maybe have a more complex or 2-part bounty that gives you extra XP or something? We need a more personalized game. I think, it's nice. We can, when we put our character together, we have a set of hairdos and stuff, but that's the one thing I loved. And when I played Starfield, and we all know where Starfield's gone, but I loved the certain traits you could shape your player, like all of the different skill trees that would drop down from Starfield. And there were 3 pages worth of them. And depending on how you play the game or what you like to play in the game, you would go for those traits first. They need to do something like that. And maybe it means they need to go deeper in the build crafting process of the game. Maybe they need to offer a ton more aspects and fragments to more personalize your play style in the game. They got to keep the weapon feel. They have to keep that magic, because that's the one thing that separates me from playing Call of Duty right now is the weapon feel and the feel of the guns in your hand. I played Dynasty Warriors forever, the hack and slash game, where you go and just go through enemies and just hack and slash. It was the ultimate turn your mind off game. And then they changed something. They went to a different developer, or went to a different engine or something as the game got older, and it just didn't feel the same. And there's just some intrinsic,
very anime of you.
well, it's just very intrinsic, something intrinsic in the game that you don't feel, but you sense it. And it's hard to explain, but they got to keep that weapon feel. They got to keep that. When I'm talking about personalization, how about some more graphical emblems with movement? Some special emblems for titles. And how about when you guild something 5 times, you get another emblem? Emblems are the ultimate way to express yourself as a guardian, because what's the first thing people see when you're sitting in orbit? They look at your emblem. And you can ask me, if you watch any of my streams, I'll say, hey man, where'd you get that emblem? I like that emblem. Where'd you get that emblem? Oh, I had to do, I don't know, I had to do 100 clears of this without dying or something. I don't know what it was, but ship, sparrows, ghost. How about some more unique looking, they can go a little further there as well, as far as like stuff dangling off of stuff and maybe even some movement. How about a door that's like jiggling and about to fall off or something? That would be kind of cool. How about a big school bus? I remember that from Destiny 1. They need to remove the limits of the season pass bar. They need to open up more rewards for time played in this game. If you want people to log in and play your game, this is what kept me playing Call of Duty all year round, because I wanted that next prestige icon next to my name, and I wanted that new prestige emblem that everyone would see to say, oh, this guy's been playing, man. This guy's been playing games. Oh, he's got 1,000 headshots with his hand cannon or with his sidearm. We need to at least open, most of the vendors they've caught on. When you prestige your Iron Banner, it opens up into a whole new level of rewards, including a new shader, which I always go for, by the way. Just a few more things as far as I know, Fluffy, plug your ears. They need to have replayable missions. In Destiny 1, you could replay the story campaign missions, but you can't. If you're playing seasonal story missions and you get it done, it just disappears. As far as I know, you can't go back and play those stories again unless you have another character. So how about some replayable missions when I get that itch, when I want to relive that story again, How about more random drops that Guardians can discover in the world? Just if you're running patrols or anything and you open a chest, you don't get that 52 stat armor, that they always throw out there. They need to get rid of that crap. How about one time you get like a lucky, like 1 in 100 chance of getting some armor with like a 70 roll, something like that. Bright Dust. Bungie. You do not realize how powerful Bright Dust is in this game. People will kill themselves to get more Bright Dust, to get all of those cosmetic things in Eververse that they don't want to spend money on. If you want to get Bright Dust, you have to do these repeatable bounties in the activities, the ritual activities, and you get 10 Bright Dust per bounty, or you get 120 if you get 7 bounties done on each vendor. When Shadowkeep came to this game, you could, anything you got from Eververse, from an Ingram drop or whatever, you could dismantle it and you would get Glimmer and you would get Bright Dust. Got to bring that back. We got to be able to have more investment in Bright Dust that we can use in the game. And I'm telling you, even though you think you'll be giving money away, and Hazel argued with me every time at this moment on this point, but people say they have only enough Bright Dust to buy this armor set here, but they see this one over here for some silver. How likely do you think they're going to spend money on that over there? Or they're going to spend it in time, that's the ultimate currency for game developers. Is how much time, how many concurrent people are playing your game every day. Bright Dust would do it. So transmog's a pain in the butt. They need to get rid of that system where you have to pay to get additional slots. Got to get rid of that. Shader system. They showed the new shader system last week. How about if we were able to press a button and rotate it? Like if a shader had like a little gold singe on it and you like that gold singe to be more prominent on something on your gear, why not have a button where you could rotate it and the textures or colors could rotate between the shader? You wouldn't have to make as many shaders, but you notice a lot of shaders have different textures on them. How about being able to rotate the shader around and then look at your armor or your weapon as you switch it around? Just saying. I mean, when they showed that new UI element last week, when they talked about it, it's nice that you can see more of the shader, but it'd be nice if, I really thought that's what they were doing. It'd be nice if you could kind of rotate the shader around a little bit. They need to, and I know we're on the last part of this Destiny 2 ride, right? They need to just make everything craftable. I know there's people out there who hate the crafting system, but like I said earlier in the show, I spent months in Witch Queen making sure I was crafting all the weapons I wanted to craft. And it gives you value for your time playing. You know, you can still have the RNG drops out there for people who want to just roll the dice and see if they get it. Sorry, RNG Gator. I know I'm using your name again, but I'm just a fan of the crafting system. It's so cool to have when I see something that's craftable, my ears perk up and I give it a lot more attention. And I know if I really like that type of weapon, especially in Crucible, I'm going to spend the time to make it the way I want to make it for my play style. And then lastly, and I know I'm hogging the conversation here, but this is kind of what I wanted to talk about tonight. We're all adults, and most of us that play Destiny, I think I can 90% with 90% accuracy can say that most of us are older adults playing Destiny. Okay.
What do you mean by older?
Older being most people who played, I would say the majority of people who play Destiny are probably in their late 20s to late 50s. In other words, gaming moms and dads.
Years or older.
I mean, let's face it, the 13-year-olds and the 15-year-olds, they're playing Fortnite, or they're playing these crazy PvP games that you have to have super good Twitch reflexes to play that I have abandoned. What's that?
And dedicated servers.
Oh, that goes without saying, but that's from my old Battlefield days when someone would try to lag switch you in a dedicated server, and all they would do is just run in place, and you just had to just tap them on the head and kill them. That's a whole other thing too. And they said they're bringing it to Marathon, but we'll see. But my point being, we're all adults. Why don't we have a rated M for mature Destiny 3 game? Blood, guts, gore, and more importantly, not the hero story. What happens if we play a season and it doesn't work out? You know, what happens if
you're enabling the OnlyFans Marasov fans? Okay.
I'm just saying.
So you want consequences to our storytelling?
I really hate to say this, and if Hazel, if you're listening,
actually matter or mean something, not just oh, we got there just in time.
Yeah,
but I waited 6 weeks. But you were just in time. Don't worry about it.
As Hazel would say, and if he's listening, I remember this exactly. I just want the world to burn. You know, it would be really how invested would you be in this game if you knew that the witness might not die? What if the witness wins? I've said that so many times. I know people are trying to hear it. What if the witness wins? What if the darkness wins and we end up resetting anyway? Or something happens that, we just don't kill. How boring is it if we just kill the witness and move on? Oh, wow. Okay. We killed the witness. I guess we killed the darkness. I guess the Light and Dark saga is over. Okay. What's next? It would just be really cool. I know there's some games out there that are really dark and probably scratch this itch for me, but it would just be nice if Destiny wasn't so nice. That maybe there wasn't a happy ending. Maybe something happened where you got really pissed, like when someone maybe shot a certain character in the game. How pissed were we when someone shot Cade? Spoiler alert. How pissed were we when Crow was possessed by Riven and shot Cade and killed him? That was probably the most paramount story in this whole daggum game, where I think everyone got up in arms and was just furious. But in a good way, because we wanted to get our revenge, right? In Forsaken. All right. That's what I want to see in a Destiny 3. Spooks.
I will say 100% that there was a certain topic that you hit that I agree with, and it came with the topic of prestige. Now, I'm prestige 31 with Shaxx right now, and it means nothing.
Exactly. What if it did, though?
Yeah. How about that armor that you got for all 31 prestiges
that I deleted?
What if there was an emblem when you hit every 10 resets, you got a new emblem? Would that make it worth it?
Do you know what? Don't even give me an emblem. Give me an engram that I can use to focus artifice armor for
there you go.
The prestige.
Why not?
I mean, not just Shaxx, give it any vendor. Every 10 prestige ranks that you hit with a vendor,
Yep.
you get an Artifice Ingram that you
Yep.
can
Why
open
not?
up and get a piece of Artifice armor. I mean, I think that would at least be worthy enough. Maybe not 10. Maybe 10 is extreme. Maybe 5 because it does
Yeah.
take time. The only reason 31 is so high right now is because of the extended season. On a regular season, I'll probably hit maybe 15 to 20.
It's been a long season.
You're muted, Fluffy.
20 to 30 is pretty average if I'm playing a lot. So yeah, I'd say you can definitely hit the 20s. But that's for people who play a lot of PvP, man.
Yeah.
Definitely.
But shouldn't they have something to show others that they play a lot of PvP other than total kills on their emblem? But which I love. I love that.
It depends on the person though, man. Like there's thousands of emblems. And like a lot of them are really cool, but you can only pick one.
That's
I mean,
true.
at the same time, out of curiosity, like, okay, sorry, let me start with this. When it comes to seasonal rank, I'm probably 300 and some right now, so I've wrapped the season rank not twice but 3 times.
I'm almost at 400.
I'm thinking for every not okay, so you have your original season rank, but for every time that you wrap it at the 100 mark, I still think that Artifice Engram would just be like a nice little, well, you did it. Here you go.
Yeah. And I mentioned, once you hit there's that crack in that voice. It's getting late. Once you hit 100, when you hit 101, guess what? There's a whole new season pass, and I know they're extending it in the episodes. I know they're meeting us halfway with the episodes because the episodes are longer, so they're extending the season pass by 50, I think. So it'll be a total of 200 by the time it's fully done. That's great and all, but I've reset it 4 times almost. Wouldn't it be really cool if we got something special, or maybe going the second time around, there'd be a special shader like with Iron Banner? Or even those damn golf balls that we never have enough of, or Ascendant. What is that? Ascendant.
Yes.
And don't get me started with enhancement cores. That's the big drain. You know what? Bungie is always good about having one currency that is so scarce that just totally drains out of our damn wallet every time. I keep flirting with 300 of them, and I'm like, oh, I got to build it back up before I spend them again.
I'm sitting on over 1,000 Gator.
I'm
maxed on alloys and
what?
Like
if I could
Bright Dust, I'm sitting at 10,000 Bright Dust right now because they're giving it away for free every week right now.
Yeah.
Well, that's true. That's true.
I'm in the 15,000s. So hey, sorry, Parody, I didn't mean to jump on you real quick, guys. I'm going to use this as my segue. I love you all. I have enjoyed the show. I have to go do stuff with my family because there's some crazy stuff going outside right now with the
Northern Lights,
and I need to drive them out of the city so we can see some more Northern Lights.
Hell yeah, man!
I keep getting pictures on my cell phone, and they look pretty amazing.
Hell yeah!
So,
yes, enjoy.
Thanks again, brother.
Yeah, thank you for the debates and having me on, and this has been wonderful. And I cannot wait to listen to the last part of it. So.
Sounds good, man.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you,
Thanks
sir.
for being here.
Take care, buddy.
Yep.
Cheers, man.
And then there were 3. Yeah, see, this comer
in the next veto competition.
And then there will be 1.
Peter, I would love to reach into my vault and hand you some of the 3,292 enhancement cores I have.
I know.
Or some of the 33,500 something Bright Dust I have. Or even I went and dutifully, like a good guardian, spent every last single legendary shard because I was told I wouldn't need them because the final shape will be here. I should spend them all.
Right.
And I had, I don't know, 40 or 50,000. I'm back up to 7,300 of those things.
Dang, I don't know.
I mean, I want to say I don't. I mean, again, I go and I spend my time. I've got, I spend my time in Gambit and Onslaught and things. Like I'm not doing the end game activities. I'm just playing this game a lot.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing that's where all of these come from.
Yeah.
Now, to be fair, I'm pretty sure I'm sitting on some enhancement cores from like when the 21% delirium was glitched and you could just turn all of those in. I would like to think at this point.
Yeah.
I've spent through some of those, but like the game does throw currency at you. And to be fair, I also don't. I tend to hoard currencies until they're decommissioned, and then I go, why do I have these? Why am I not spending? Like I work so hard for these rewards, and then I go, well, but I don't spend the reward.
So what Parody is saying, Gator, is that he doesn't share the same problem you and I have,
Yep.
where we're content creators, so we're trying different things.
You're
We're
making builds.
Exactly. And
Uses them.
all in the name of, okay, well, I seen a cool guy video come out about
Yep.
this particular piece of content. I want to try that build. And well, I need to use up all my currency because I need to bring it to the light level. I need to masterwork it. I need to do this. I need to do that. Oh,
Mhm.
well, that was fantastic. I think that would be great for this audience. I think that would be great for that audience. So the average person out there isn't doing that. They're probably finding the thing that they enjoy the most,
Yep.
using that one thing and sticking with it. And then because they're sticking with it, much like our good friend Parody here, they're just building up currencies
Yep.
at this point, at least in terms of an extended season, they don't really need. Now, once the final shape drops, there's something new, shiny. There's the new shiny thing out there. You know, they're going to go, okay, well, I have lots of currency now, so let me go try everything.
That's what happens. That's what happens.
Currencies over and make me go get different currencies.
Yep.
Yes.
And I know I know what it is. It's gun crafting and it's masterworking armor that sucks them up. And it's nuts.
How much armor are you like this is where
Oh, it's I have all the exotics, but I don't have them all masterworked. And then I'll see a build that says, "Oh, you need to use this the briar binds. You need to use the briar binds because this Child of the Old Gods build." I'm like, "Man, that
Armor
looks
picker?
pretty. That looks pretty cool." So I made this. So I made this build. Well, my briar binds, I haven't touched those things. They never really did any good for me. Well, guess what? It costs to upgrade that to masterwork level. And when you go to your armor pickers and stuff, you have to assume everything is masterworked to put your builds together. So that's for me. I mean, for one exotic, you're using. Oh, I figured this out a long time ago, but you're using 3 golf balls. Anytime you masterwork anything, whether it's anything exotic, it's 3 golf balls and then a ton of prisms. And guess what? Hey, guess what, Parody? You can farm prisms now, but guess what they cost? They cost enhancement cores. That's where all my enhancement cores are going. That's where my enhancement cores are going because I'm trying to farm prisms. And I'm sorry, I don't stream this game. I'm not playing 8 hours a day. I'm playing 2 hours a night when I get home from work. I'm
totally.
I don't know if I guess I'm a casual hardcore, I guess. Someone asked me this. I think it was original Jimmy asked me this question last week. Are you a casual hardcore or are you a hardcore casual? And I think I'm a casual hardcore because I love playing the hardcore stuff. I love playing trials and everything, but I only have the time to play on a casual basis right now because if I'm not really in the mood to play Destiny, I'm not going to force myself to play. And I know this goes back to Fluffy's story where we feel we're doing something we're not having fun doing. And it's been a long season and I know that counts too. But if I'm not feeling it, I just don't play it. I go watch some of my shows. I mean, I saw 44 movies last year at the movie theater. This is things I do with my wife, through the week and on the weekends. And when some people are playing trials and grinding out weapons and stuff on the weekend, I'm either editing a podcast or making a new YouTube video or making some shorts. I mean, the time, everybody has the same amount of time and it just depends what time where you're putting that time. And I know there's people out there that have every piece of armor fully masterwork and they have like 10,000 enhancement cores in their vault. They play a ton of the game and it just builds up over time. But I would say that's probably 5% of the 5 to 10% of the player base that plays that much. The rest of us, where we stand on that. So I'll get comments either way. I'll get people say, dude, you're off your rocker.
100%.
I got 8,000 of these things. I can't give them away. And then you'll have people go, I understand, Gator. I really do. I wanted to masterwork this gear the other day and I couldn't do it because I didn't have the materials. So I don't know. As far as the materials.
Yeah, I mean, part of it is definitely, I play 2 characters. Like I have a third character. I do not play the third character. So I mean, part of it is I'm not building for 3 separate characters. Yeah, and I'm not going out and create. I'm playing for
Yeah.
me. Like I'm going and I'm going queuing up these videos, going, let me pull this into Dim, let me pull this into D Charmer Picker, let me throw this build together, let me masterwork all this stuff. But then sometimes I sit there, sometimes I play with it. But yeah, I'm right there with you. Like if I'm not, I mean, there was a long time where like a week would go by, barely a day would go by where I wouldn't play this game. But then, you know, the longer, especially with these long seasons, it's like what are you grinding for? What are you looking to get? I mean, at this point, I'm putting 3 hours a week in, maybe. Like it's sort of like I'll dip in here and there, or I'll jump on with some friends, and we'll play for a couple hours, do some onslaught or whatever. But just it's definitely it's. And it's just so interesting to like just the dichotomy of you're either drowning materials or you're starved for materials. Like there is no middle ground. Like I don't know anybody who's sort of like I'm in a good spot with them. Like I've got just enough and I feel good about it. Like it. I mean, I guess it's just sort of a symptom of you've got people who are playing this game 8 hours a day, people who play it 8 hours a week or 8 hours a month, and then just again you've got
some people take 6 months off.
Is it one character? Is it 3 characters? Like in D1 especially, like we play with a bunch of guys who were active military, so they're like, I'm not gonna be around for the next six or 9 months or a year, whatever.
Played with those too,
and then they come back and go, what are we doing here? So I mean, I'm wishing that a lot of these changes were around back then. Would have made it a lot easier to sort of reintegrate them into the game and just catch up with what's going on. But
I just find it's funny that Spider's gone. We can't exchange anything with him anymore. So they gave it all to the Cryptarch to do. I miss him too, Sweaty. And I go, when they started talking about being able to get enhancement cores and farming and swapping out stuff you have a lot of, I have a ton of legendary shards because, we're not going to be using them next season, the next drop. So all I can get pretty much is 10,000 glimmer, per 10 of them, or whatever it is. But the problem is with the Cryptarch, you can easily exchange enhancement cores to get prisms or even golf balls. You can use prisms to get prism. You get prisms to get golf balls to get ascendant alloys, but you can't. It doesn't go the other way. I mean, you can turn in a prism that you just bought for 10 enhancement cores, and you can turn it back to 5. That's a negative system. There's no way that works out. If you're low on enhancement cores, there's no way to go to Raul and say, I need more enhancement cores. He's like, I got nothing for you, buddy. Now, if you have prisms, I can give you some enhancement cores. I'm like, well, I need the prisms. I need the prisms. I need the enhancement cores so I can get the prisms. You see what I'm saying? But one other thing I failed to mention here, Sweaty, if a Destiny 3 were to come, and I think this would really fix the vault problem, because I'm looking at my vault right now, it's 600 of 600. Is if they either did one of two things, either let everything be craftable, personalize your weapon for how you want to play the game, just open it up to everything. Anything you can go to the throne world and craft anything you want. And okay, if there's a grind where you have to go get so many patterns of the weapon or whatever, maybe you have to wait for it to come around with Zur or the gunsmith to do that, whatever. I've done that before. But what if, they already have this in place, is the collection system where you can go back and any of your Destiny 1 weapons you can pull right out of collections. They had fixed rolls back then, so it was real simple. But what if you could actually, for enhancement cores or prisms or golf balls or alloys, you can lock in a god roll and lock it in your collections, store it away forever.
You mean, let's say, for example, you unlocked Fatebringer. I know you're not a hand cannon guy. This is an example, but just an example.
Yep.
But let's say, okay, well, I know that you don't.
I know the role you want. You want opening shot, and you want either incandescent opening shot, or if it's for PvP, you want opening shot explosive rounds, or you want opening shot and.
Hold on, the message is getting lost here just because of the focus on the weapon that I chose. So let's say Blast Furnace, right?
Okay.
You like Blast Furnace.
I love Blast Furnace.
So let's say as an example, you got a drop that came with Frenzy and Keep Away. Well, now you can go back in your collections and you have those 2 perks unlocked.
Yep.
So let's say you get another Blast Furnace. This one is One for All and Perpetual Motion. Now you have One for All, Perpetual Motion,
Right.
and the Frenzy and Keep Away perks that you can choose from your collection. That's kind of what you're
because you've
going
earned
for
the
here.
weapon. You've already unlocked those
Exactly.
perks for that weapon. Why
Right.
not? I mean, you can get rid of you know, at this point, Sweaty, you can get rid of the crafting table now. You don't need it, because every time you unlock a new perk on the gun, and the more you play, the more you invest time into Destiny to get more and more gun drops, eventually you'll have everything you want. And say, okay, guys, I'm using my blast furnace. I need head seeker, and I need moving target. I want to be able to strafe really fast when I'm aiming down the sight, and I want to knock heads with a head seeker. That's my role I want to use for PvP. And then you're like, okay, there's a we're doing a raid tomorrow. And I'm like, okay, well, hold on, let me go to my collections, and I'll drop off head seeker because I don't need that in PvE, and I'll go with frenzy or frenzy and keep away or whatever. I can switch over immediately that weapon and go play a raid the next day with the same weapon, because I've spent the time to unlock. So get rid of the patterns and just have it unlock for every time you get the gun with different drops. You can do this for Iron Banner. You can do this for Crucible. You can do it for anything. How many of those pulse rifles do you have for from playing comp?
Not enough.
I've got 10 in my vault. All good rolls.
Sorry, I've probably received a lot,
Oh,
but I've
yeah.
only kept 3.
I know you're a hand cannon guy. You're probably opposite of me. You have a ton of hand cannons in that vault.
Hear me out now.
Okay.
I do have a head seeker keep away.
Okay.
Now, the thing that I aim for with that perk combination is arrowhead break. And the
You got
reason arrowhead break is important is because the recoil direction. Now,
Redirection.
Belisarius D, you can get away without it. So one that I have, it's a reload masterwork, unfortunately. But
Yeah.
head seeker keep away, ricochet rounds, hammer forged. Now that's still 100 recoil direction because it's a comp weapon. But if it were, let's say, move the conversation to the messenger, I would need that arrowhead break in order to compensate for that recoil direction. And that's very important. And for those who don't understand what I mean, that are listening to this, recoil direction, specifically on a pulse rifle, which is where it's most important, it's going to affect the direction that your bullets bounce at the point of trigger pull. So as an example, let's say it landed far away from us. So with 100 being the best case scenario, 100 means
Straight
it's
up and
gonna
down.
shoot straight up and down, and the bullet spread is going to be absolute minimal, very tight together. Now let's say it landed on 63. 63 means that your bullet spread is going to be very wide. That's what they mean by a bullet or cone angle. You'll hear Cool Guy talk about this. That's what cone angle means. So 60 to 70 to 80 to 90 is getting tighter and tighter and tighter. But the further you go from 100, the wider that cone angle gets. Whenever you land on something that's not a 5 or a flat 90, 80, 70, it's not going to be up and down, and it's going to shoot to a random direction.
Right.
So what arrowhead break does is it gives you a benefit of plus 15 to recoil direction, if I'm not mistaken, which is just free bonuses. Not only that, but it increases your handling. It's a mechanic that really controls the aggressive recoilness of a weapon. So Parody, if you're playing Gambit and your particular role is Invader, you have a pulse rifle. What's your preferred weapon?
It all depends. Usually 600 RPM auto, but let's go with the bygones from the
390
pulse rifle.
I still have one. That's getting on sunset.
I hung on to for a long time. That was the weapon I used because I liked the feel of it. There was
it's a fantastic weapon.
Something about the recoil pattern really
perfect.
Brain.
It's a perfect example because the base recoil direction, we know that 100 is the best. 69 is the base recoil direction of that weapon. So let's just throw for your mag ricochet rounds on that. Let's throw head seeker on that. That's still not going to move your recoil direction, but then from 69, let's put on arrowhead break. That's going to bring it to 99.
Pretty much straight up and down.
Close enough to 100. Exactly.
Now it's a bullet. Now it's a dart. See here, but here's my point though, Sweaty. Thank you for the analysis. No. I know that's the PvP person. I know you're very good about that.
Blueberry Lounge, if you
exactly.
Why do I want these things? Do I not just look at them and say yes or no?
Yeah, exactly. You said your Belisarius D unfortunately had a reload masterwork, right?
Correct.
So now, if according to this new system, you can jump back into comp and try to get all you would have to do was get a stability masterwork or a range masterwork, the masterwork that you wanted. But guess what? Guess who's going back to play comp because they want to unlock that on that Belisarius D? You see my point? There's the game loop. You don't have to worry about.
Myself,
But
I
who?
know where you're going with it.
but okay, I understand. But here's the thing: why are we chasing these weapon, deep sight weapons that you can convert and get the, what is it? I don't know what the current. I don't know what it is.
I'm searching my dim right now because I know where you're going with this.
It's the skins. The skins. No, what do they call it? No. You have to get so many of these to be able to craft the weapon.
Oh, the deep sights.
Yeah, but what do you get when you dismantle not blueprint? It's another name. Gee whiz, how are we not getting this? We're Destiny podcasters, for God's sake. The frames. Is it frames? Frames or?
Well, yeah,
close enough.
The same thing.
Close enough.
The deep sight harmonizers.
No, it's not that. But yeah, I mean, you're using that to be able to convert one that is not a red border. That's another thing. But
right.
Instead of going for these frames on weapons, and what if you want to craft a weapon that's no longer in the seasonal stuff, and you can't get deep sight weapons, deep sight for it, and you have to rely on these harmonizers that you only give you 6 or 7 of them every season? Why not just have it where you unlock that and you can pull it out of collections at any time on however many of them you get to drop at whatever. And every time it drops, I mean, you basically are putting the craftability of the gun in the collections tab. You're getting rid of the crafting table altogether. No more having to collect frames, or I know people are yelling at the screen right now. It's not frames, whatever it's called. I don't have my game open, so I can't remember. But if you only had to just keep farming the weapon to get the perks unlocked that you want, man, think of all the hundreds of weapons in this game. You've just created a play loop right there just by doing that one change to the game. If Destiny 3 came with that kind of system in place, oh man, it's a Call of Duty all over again. It's Call of Duty all over again. You're going to go out there and just try to get and build the weapon exactly the way you want it. I just think that's I don't know why they haven't pounced on that, other than the fact that they're being hindered by the older engine of the older consoles, or sorry, I'm not trying to shit on the older consoles, but the time is going to come where we're going to have to keep moving on as the game moves on. And the new consoles and PCs are going to be the way to go. They're going to be the way. But
I mean, that's what I did. I started on Xbox.
Yeah.
And I mean, it was a personal decision, but I did go to PC because, okay, intervention time. Sweaty has a problem with hand cannons. So if I can't play Destiny, do you want to know what I'm playing, Gator?
What?
Apex Legends.
Yes.
Because there's one weapon, and it's called a wingman.
Mm-hmm. I remember that weapon.
Parody knows where I'm going with this because I'm sure Titanfall 2 had it.
Something similar, yeah.
It's a hand cannon. It works very similar. Yeah, anyways, there's something about the 3-tap satisfaction that has me by the grips.
I get it. Well, that was your topic, Sweaty. Any final words on Destiny 3, what it would look like?
For me, so it would definitely have to be a hard reset. I think most of us are in agreement with that. I don't think the majority of us want to hear the galaxy is in peril yet again.
Yes.
And I mean, sure, maybe that's what it is for the story. I don't know. Bungie's really good at story. I leave that to Bungie. That's kind of what they're the best at when it comes to Destiny franchise. But I think it would have to be different, or at least disconnected from the current storyline that we've been following for the past 10 years. At least that seems to be the consensus that I gather through the various podcast groups through the Owl Sector Alliance. It's going to have to be new story of some sort, I think some people theorize, well, what if we did a prequel in the sense that we explored some of Shaq's story? What if we did the Golden Age? What if we did the fight of Six Fronts?
Mhm.
You know what? We know about that stuff. It's not new. So why don't we do something that's clean slate, new, hard reset, new loot, new characters? Prismatic? Sure. I like the idea,
Mhm.
but why don't we open it up for self-identity, self-creation in terms of, hey, I went through this story, so I have the void track unlocked. Hey, I went through that story, so I have the stasis arc unlocked. But I can mix and match the and you know what I'm saying? Like like Fluffy said, there's no line. You can create your guardian, custom tailored to you as an individual to be your online identity, and to pursue your power fantasy of choice. I'm in agreement with everybody in terms of that. Um,
Yeah.
I think that's where I'm at.
I mean, there's been a couple leaks out there. Some have said that Destiny 3's already working on it. They've been doing it for a couple of years now. There's other people saying that there's not going to be a Destiny 3, that they're going to continue with the episodes, and but it's going to be something, quote, new. I think we're all in consensus here that we're ready for a hard reset. We're ready for Gaul to kick us off and let us start over again. But maybe someone else, not Gaul, but someone else.
Could you imagine if Destiny, like the franchise of Destiny, introduced us to new characters within the universe of Destiny that we don't know yet, and a whole new story that we have to pursue like that? And I'm in agreement with you, Gator. Now, you didn't mention this during the show, but I'm going to be the bold bastard that brings it forward.
Somebody's got
because I agree with you that, and the reason we didn't talk about it is because we don't have any evidence that this is ever going to be a thing.
Mhm.
But I think it would be fascinating to see, potentially, theoretically speaking, in the future, if there was ever a Destiny TV series.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
People are tired of me talking about it.
I've been following the Fallout series, and it's been very enjoyable, even to the point to where my wife has been watching it with me.
It's amazing.
And like, I've never played the Fallout games. I never really cared to follow the Fallout games just because it's a game style that it's a game loop that I don't get enjoyment from. I mean, my limit to that would be Skyrim, and I enjoyed it during the time that I played it, but I don't have any motivation to go back and play it again.
Yeah.
But to see the story, to hear the story, to watch it on the TV, I mean, I'm always watching some sort of a show as I'm falling asleep every night, even if I end up watching the same episode multiple times because we're all full-time working men here.
Sure.
But you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
I think it would be a great, even, you know what? Even if it wasn't a TV series, because that does take a lot of effort, does take a lot of time. Just make me a movie about one character.
Borderlands is
Give me
doing
a
it.
story.
Borderlands is doing it in August.
I think it would be a treat. And I think that even my wife, who despises Destiny because it's the other woman of the house,
Yes.
I think even she could come to appreciate the characters that we have grown to love so much. And that's not to say that it should justify the reason as to why we should receive the stories or the cinematics, if you will. I know that my wife certainly doesn't have any motivation to go to YouTube and watch the in-game cinematics that we've been gifted by Bungie with.
Yeah.
But if you were to give her a TV series, throw it on Amazon Prime, throw it on Netflix, what have you, I can almost guarantee that she will watch it, and she would definitely enjoy the character development that Bungie has invested in over the years.
If it's done right and Sony's behind it, I mean, Sony makes a lot of good stuff. If Sony's behind it and they do it right and they spend the money they need to, it can be the biggest silver bullet for Sony going forward, especially if it came out right as a Destiny 3 was launched, which I have to say, Bethesda dropped the ball on this. I mean, my God, they didn't have anything planned. It's like they got caught by surprise here. And I talked about this on last show. I won't go down that road again, but man, what a missed opportunity. You imagine if they had even just an expansion for Fallout 4 or New Vegas, I don't know. I just thought that was
put out a really buggy patch, as is the Bethesda way.
Yeah. That's a feature from what I hear, but that's a feature of Bethesda is the bugginess. So yeah.
Yeah. I drive by with them and wave at the power armor periodically. Like, hey, you guys make really good games, and until you don't. But
well,
And don't
I
get me
love
wrong,
Starfield. I
like
love Starfield. It was a fun game, but
I
it wasn't Destiny.
I I know that you feel very passionate when it comes to the realm and the topic of cinematics, and I'm not the person that okay, I'm gonna share this with you, Gator and Parody, but I think they're overdoing the live action
It's
themes of
overplayed.
things. I think it's just getting a little much right now, and it's devaluing from the experiences that we've been giving that are bangers, but that's the reason why they're doing it.
Yeah.
I I don't know. Like I'm not 100% sure where I'm going with this, but I guess what I'm saying is that like I don't want to overdo it, but I do think that the story of Destiny would be nice to have, even if it like it was CGI made. Or CGI may not be the right
Well,
terminology,
there'll
but
have to
I've
be
always
some.
thought that the cinematics that are provided to us in the games, like you could easily make a wonderful TV show, wonderful movie,
Mhm.
just using that same technology,
Yep.
but they don't do it. I don't know.
I
I guess what I'm just saying is I'd
yeah.
like to see the cinematics of that story played out.
I watched Arcane for the first time. Never played the game in my life, and I immediately picked up the game and started playing it just from watching that anime. It was amazing. Well done. So I'm not opposed to animation, but it just has to be done right. It had. I mean, I mentioned this in several shows ago. Destiny has so much lore in this game, and that's something I really hope they put into a Destiny 3 is that the lore surfaces more into the campaigns, because you can have someone who doesn't follow any lore that's playing a totally different campaign, a totally different Destiny game than the people who do love the lore and take the time to read about it and play the same mission but know all the backgrounds of everything going on in the mission. Totally different game. If they were to make a TV show, anime, movie, whatever, they could take a pick at whatever they wanted to in the lore community and have something. It almost writes itself. It's so deep. The stories are so deep in this game. But I don't know. We'll have to see. We'll have to see how that goes. But only time will tell. And I like to give Bungie the benefit of the doubt, which is probably always my downfall. That's why I'm the Destiny shield, because I always think Destiny can do, or Bungie can do no wrong, when probably in reality, they're just reacting like every company out there does when it comes to entertainment. It's a moving target, and what could be hot one month may not be hot the next month. So I don't envy their job, but I just love what they make.
I
And
will say the most recent events, and I mean, we know the downside of Destiny. We've been fans of it long enough.
Mhm.
But what I will say is that the heat, the attention, the news that we've been reading when it came to Sony and the devs and stuff like this, we all come to the realization that it's not the devs, it's the management, it's the leadership, it's the higher ups. Now, what I've been noticing lately, Gator and Parody both, I'm curious. Have you noticed that years of requests have come through in the past month to 3 months, and that leadership has allowed the devs to cook recently?
I think, like with honestly the whole End of the Light drop, it reminded me of the end of Destiny 1, where they gave us all the strike score
Yep.
and they gave basically all these things that all
Yep.
these little quality of life things they would sort of pepper in here and there or give us for seasonal events. They just dropped. They were like, here you go, have
Go
fun.
crazy.
You want all these fun exotic class items? You want to punch an ogre and have him be your best friend?
Yep.
Go for it. There were other ones that did other things. I just wanted to punch enemies and make them my friend.
Yep.
And now we're good. Like this really feels like
Exactly.
the end of the thing. Let's give you all the things. Let's
It's Rise of
really
Iron.
pump this up. I mean, let's begin this. Bungie is nothing if not incredible at hype. Let's take the game that was in a decent spot. Let's put it back where it should be. Let's give something for basically every corner of this game. Let's drop a ton of free content. Let's make the entire thing free for a month. Let's really build into the final shape. One, because financially that's all they have. Like there is nothing else but Destiny 2. They're not making money on Marathon or anything else at this point. And two, like they're building something. Like they clearly the investment we weren't seeing going into Destiny was going somewhere. There's other projects plural in the pipeline somewhere.
Right.
And I'm totally with you. I don't want to experience all of the Destiny world through the game of Destiny. Give me an animated TV show. Give me a live action TV show. Give me a comic book. Give me something. Like right, there are so many stories that I would like to hear about that I don't want to experience as a 2-minute cutscene in a video game. I want to live those stories. I want to live in that world. Give me some books, like some proper like narrative. The lore and the grimoire stuff is fine, but like, give me some novels. I mean, Star Trek, Star Wars, Halo, all things with huge stories,
Right.
with rich worlds. There is stuff outside of the video game to go enjoy. I want to live those stories that way.
Got me.
Which one?
The Wishkeeper, the bow, the new bow.
Yeah.
Man, that activity and the scene at the end of it, like it really got me. And I was like, this is what I would like to see in a show.
Yep.
Like the depth and the detail and the gut wrenching, like your heart's involved because you can relate on some level. Like I see where you're going with it.
Would you agree that with all the lore in Destiny, they probably have 10 full seasons, 10 full seasons of lore. Easy. Think about, I mean, I still think to this day, and I'm tired, people are so tired of me talking about it, but I have to mention it one more time. When Bungie was being purchased by Sony, they had to see all this. They had to see all what they were buying the rights to. And I don't think Sony's a stupid company. They've been around a long time, and they've been through a lot of changes. So,
well, they're doing a Ghost of Tsushima movie.
I mean, if anything, okay, when they made the Halo movie,
I didn't mean to cut you off there.
when they made the Halo, when they made the Halo TV series, that's an example of not doing it right, or someone has a different viewpoint of what Halo is. Or I even heard these people made the live action series never played the game. That's terrible. So like I said, if Sony can do it right, if they can spend the money and keep the realism involved, whether it's anime or whatever, I really think it's a win-win. And it just boggles my mind that they wouldn't, especially after what's happened with Fallout. I mean, look at the bounce back that this 10-year-old game, older, the people are grabbing and playing it now. Think of all the sales numbers they've got in on something they already developed. They hadn't spent zero on lately. So I'm just saying.
To further your point, they're giving it away for free on Amazon Prime.
Yes. So I don't know. We'll see. Gentlemen, it's been a treat tonight. I know we can, I can certainly keep talking about this, but I wanted to make sure we all got our opinions out as far as what a Destiny 3 would look like. So I thank you both for coming on the show tonight. I was so looking forward to this show this week, and man, just what a great topic to talk about, and very, very apropos. I mean, we're heading right into, probably within 2-3 weeks, we're heading into Final Shape. So it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm real excited about what's coming down the pike.
That's crazy to think about. I still feel like it's so far away. Like I haven't even thought about that timeline, honestly.
Yeah. 2 to 3 weeks. I mean, June 4th is 2 weeks away. 2.5.
Every time it creeps up on me, I think, I've got 6 weeks, and then all of a sudden it's tomorrow. It's like, oh, it's tomorrow.
And remember, kiddos, don't keep your Vanguard, Crucible, or Gambit bounties. They will disappear next season.
I wanted to ask you about that, Gator, before we closed out the show. As the Destiny shield that is so esteemed on bounties, I wanted to know, how are you handling this news that Bungie released today in regards to bounties?
No, I love this Pathfinder system. Kingsley was talking about it in the Discord today, how he was just talking on the show that I was with him on, how it would be nice if we, the one bad thing about these activity bounties is like get 50 kills with a sidearm. Well, here I am like a jackass running around, probably hurting my team because I have to kill everything with a sidearm, including blockers. So let us gain XP or bright dust or exotic engrams or whatever by just playing the game. And this new Pathfinder system that they just tweeted out about, they said in the next couple of weeks before Final Shape, they're going to explain what that is. I'm excited to hear it. It's like every week Bungie's got a banger of a TWAB. So I'm looking forward to next week and seeing what they bring out. So, but no, I'm still gathering my weekly bounties on the Cosmodrome, the weekly bounty on.
Start fresh. Start fresh.
No, I don't need. No, I know.
You want the final shape like a newborn baby. You don't need those. You don't need those bounties. Those bounties aren't real. You don't need them. It'll be fine.
But have you ever?
No, birds aren't real people.
Here's this reminds me of the time that me and Hazel played the very first story mission when I think it was Witch Queen dropped. Witch Queen? One of the seasonal. Anyway, we jumped into the season and I said, hold on a sec, I got to do something real quick. And all he heard was clunk, 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 ding, clunk, 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 ding, clunk, clunk. And I got that soundbite. I got that soundbite somewhere. And you know what? I'm going to put it in right here. I'm going to put it in right here so you guys can hear what victory sounds like.
Or hear me out. You're going to get to level 350 on the season anyway. If you only make it to 342, does it really matter?
Well, where it really matters for me, and it doesn't sound like they're changing the artifact, is it unlocks my artifact stuff much faster. And I know Kingsley said this in the Discord that they've already stated that if you play the mission, you play the stories that lead up to the raid and then the final story, that you'll still unlock everything in the same amount of time. Well, I like to go beyond that. How about we unlock everything, and then some? How about some power? We'll get a little bit of power on there too. So people who are going to hoard bounties are going to get that power bump faster. And that's unless they change it, which they haven't really let us on that they're changing the power level in the artifact. So if that's still the case, then I'm still going to hoard bounties.
And then you can just be bored with the season sooner. Congratulations.
You know what's funny is this has been a very long season. And for some reason, I pace myself very well where I don't have any FOMO. The first season ever, don't have any FOMO. And maybe Into the Light, I have a little bit on some of my old characters. But for the most part, I don't have the FOMO. I can play when I want to play. It's just a good feeling, So hopefully Bungie's listening and they hear some of these topics we mentioned tonight as far as what a Destiny 3 would look like. And it just seems, I just got that feeling it's coming. I think Sony needs it. I think Bungie needs it. I think it's time for a fresh restart, and hopefully that's what'll happen. All right, well, I'll end it there. Thank you, gentlemen, very much for coming out. I got a lightning storm about to move through here, and my daughter's already texting me going, get offline. But thank you both, Sweaty Spooks and Parody. Thank you very much. And Parody, hopefully you get at least a few hours of sleep before you start recording again tomorrow.
Oh yeah, I'll be in the same chair. I don't know, some number. I'm trying to do math.
I know it's late. And please tell Night Demon and no one responds in real life I said hello.
7 hours.
There you go. And Sweaty Spooks, tell Native Raider to get off Pal World, start coming back to the light again.
The intervention will occur.
Thank you, sir. Well, thank you, gentlemen. Appreciate it very much.